I am Reed. I am 27. Just an average dude. I've made tons of money mistakes in my 20s, and now I want to share everything I've learned to help you take control of your finances and your life. Oh shit, guys, we need to talk about something serious, like seriously concerning for anyone into gaming or just tech in general. Valve just dropped a bombshell, and honestly, it feels like a punch to the gut. The Steam Deck prices, man, they've gone to infinity and beyond it. Wild. So they got rid of the lowest tier Steam Deck, right? Now it is only OLED models they reselling. And here, where it gets real spicy. The 512GB OLED model, which was $549, is now $789. That is a $240 price increase, a $240 jump. My mind was blown when I saw that, but wait, it gets even better or worse, depending on how you look at it. For the 1TB OLED model, it went from $649 to a whopping $949. That is a $300 price increase, almost a 50% hike. Can you believe that? A $300 increase. It is truly mind-boggling to see such a significant jump all at once. This isn't a small adjustment. This is a massive shift in how much you have to shell out for what was already a pretty premium device. For many folks, we're talking about a near 50% jump on the top tier model, which is just insane. It makes you wonder what's really going on behind the scenes to justify such a monumental change in pricing. For someone like me who is always trying to find the best value for money and avoid unnecessary debt, this is a huge red flag. Valve's official reason for this is to reflect the current state of component costs and global logistical challenges across the industry. And yeah, we all knew things were getting more expensive. That has been the buzz for a while. We've heard about supply chain issues, chip shortages, and all that jazz for what feels like forever, but I don't think anyone, myself included, was expecting it to be this much. People were probably bracing for maybe a $100, maybe $150 increase tops. That would have been tough to swallow, but somewhat understandable given the current economic climate. But holy man, this is well beyond expectations. This isn't just a slight bump. This is a leap. A financial leap that many people might not be able to make. We've rapidly reached a point where just your average working person is getting priced out of this hobby if they want modern hardware. It is truly catastrophic. What a diabolical decline in affordability for this industry. It's genuinely sad to see gaming, for many, is an escape, a way to relax and unwind. And when it becomes this expensive, it starts to feel less like a hobby and more like a luxury. Only a few can afford this kind of thing. Makes me think back to when I was struggling financially, desperately wanting to enjoy my hobbies, but always having to make tough choices. It is a frustrating position to be in. Now, I recognize that it is not entirely Valve's fault that component costs and everything are so high. Obviously, a lot of that fault lies primarily on AI and the companies that have done their best to ham-fist AI into every sector of life. Now, I get it. The demand for advanced chips for AI development is just skyrocketing, and that is driving up prices for everything else that uses similar components. But this price increase, there is just no justifying paying that much for the Steam Deck. When you look at the numbers, it is hard to reconcile. It feels like more than just component costs. And this is coming from someone who doesn't even own a Steam Deck. I am not really a handheld gamer, so I never got one. My gaming usually happens on a PC, but even then, I am always conscious about the cost of upgrades and new parts, but I think this paints a very scary picture for the Steam Machine price, which is something I was actually considering getting the idea of a console. Like PC experience with the flexibility of Steam was really appealing, and the Steam Machine, one of its big selling points was that its price point would be lower than having a full-blown gaming PC. I don't think that is going to be the case if the Steam Deck price increases are anything to go by. This feels very much like in Mass Effect, when the signal that the Reapers are coming. This is alarming and probably indicates that the Steam Machine will likely be on the more expensive side of things when the speculation was that it was going to be reasonably priced on the lower end. I imagine now at probably 1 TB, I am not saying it is going to come out and be the same cost as a Cybertruck or something. That would be absurd. But based on these price increases for the already existing hardware, the Steam Machine just kind of being out in the ether and so much unknown about it leads me to err on the side of caution. This might be just the same price as an actual PC or even more, which completely changes its value proposition. And in that case, what the hell is even the point of owning the Steam Machine? It kind of defeats the purpose. If I am paying PC prices, I might as well just build a PC and have all the benefits that come with it, like easier upgrades and more versatility. This whole situation just makes me hesitant to even consider it anymore, and that's a real shame because I was genuinely excited about the possibility. In their statement, Valve confirms that the Steam Deck itself hasn't changed. It hasn't gone through like a drastic overhaul or anything like that. They didn't implement a Tesseract in there. It's the same hardware, the same experience. The price increase is solely based on how the component costs have gone up, as well as the other things going on around the world. And they say that they will keep the community updated if anything changes. Personally, I wouldn't hold my breath for any changes there. I wouldn't be staying up late at night, waiting by the phone on bated breath for Valve to get you on the horn to give you the good news that Santa came early and the price is being reduced. I don't see that happening for a long time, if ever. Genuinely, And I am not saying that just to be all doom and gloom Debbie Downer type, but I mean that genuinely I don't see this changing anytime soon. Once prices go up in the tech world, they rarely ever come back down significantly, especially when it is attributed to fundamental market shifts like component costs. It's like when gas prices go up, they might dip a little, but they rarely go back to where they were before a major hike. This is just the new reality, unfortunately. And as I've said for many months now, I expect this trend, these price increases, to continue happening across the board in tons and tons of different avenues and products, and many devices out there. That is just the current state of the world. We re-seeing it everywhere. From cars to consumer electronics to even basic necessities, inflation is a real thing, and it is impacting our wallets in a big way. Now, yes, it is a little out of Valve's control with the component costs. They read just one player in a much larger global economy, but I would have never imagined it would be this significant of a price increase. That stunned me as well. That nearly knocked me out of my chair when I saw that, especially considering the Steam Deck has been sold out for a while from what I recall. People have been having a very hard time even getting their hands on this product to begin with, and now it has exploded in price. So like the people that had been waiting, now they getting doubly messed over. They are getting double-fisted now. Like, it is just a disaster. Imagine waiting months, even a year, to get your hands on something you've been saving for, only for the price to suddenly jump by hundreds of dollars just as it becomes available. That is a truly frustrating and unfair situation for consumers. It feels like a bait and switch, even if it is not intentional. And I am just going to be real honest here. I am coming at you brazenly. I am coming at you aggressively here with the truth. I am questioning if this price increase is really indicative of just the component costs, or if they just thought they could get away with it because the demand for the Steam Deck is so high. I mean, the Steam Deck has been incredibly popular, a huge success for Valve. The reason I think that is because if you recall, the Nintendo Switch 2 also had to do price increases, and they also gave consumers quite an advanced heads up about the impending price increase. In the Steam Deck's case, Valve has instantly ripped that band-aid off. This has been flipped online immediately. No warning. No heads up, just bam, new prices. And with the Switch 2, their price increase was like $50 from what I recall, give or take. It was somewhere in that general ballpark. So the Switch 2 increased by about $50. And yet the Steam Deck is increasing by over $200, $240 on one of their tiers, and $300 on the other. Now, of course, the Steam Deck hardware I know is better than the Switch 2. It is a more powerful and versatile device, but $240 and $300, that feels extremely high. It is a massive difference, and it makes you wonder about the justification. Another thing Nintendo has as an advantage here with their pricing is that they can eat some of the cost because of the first-party games that they're reselling as well to try and make up for it. They have a whole ecosystem of software and accessories that contributes to their overall revenue, allowing them more flexibility with hardware pricing. So I recognize that they were able to not have it be overly explosive in terms of their price increase on the console, but even still, even factoring that in. Valve's price increase here is still astronomical. It just makes me question if that really is like a baseline that they were able to sell these devices at in light of the recent increase in cost of the components, when the Switch 2 went up by significantly less. And again, I know the Steam Deck is a much more sophisticated piece of hardware. It's basically a portable PC, but that is still a huge price increase, and the demand for it has been ferocious. So is there a chance Valve just decided, okay, we have to raise the price because obviously the components are more expensive, but people are likely still going to buy it regardless of what price we land on, so maybe we hike it a little higher?